Good morning. How is everyone today? Joe and Travis, are you on right now? Hey, Joe. Sorry, I accidentally put an S at the end of your name. I typed it really fast yesterday.
No worries.
Travis, good morning. I'm going to share my screen and then we'll get started here in just a sec.
All right.
Just getting an incognito window open here. Okay. All right, I'm going to share my screen, everyone. And for those of you that are on, if you could just verify, please, that you can see my screen and you can hear me okay. That would be awesome. All right, looks like we got confirmation. Thanks everyone for being here this morning. So welcome to our booj training webinar. We are in a virtual world right now, all of us, and we've been doing this all week. This is the fourth time this week. And in case you're wondering, we're doing the same content every week. However, or every day, the questions are different each time. But that is what's happening. So we are going, by the way, everyone, hi, I'm Michelle Hoyt. I am a regional trainer for RE/MAX INTEGRA, and I'm happy to be your host today. And I am located in the Midwest. And some of you know Maureen Colvin, who's my counterpart in New England. So you're on a webinar today, so you're in listen-only mode. So I'm going to ask that you ask your questions in the questions and answers box. So behind the scenes, we have Joe Griffith and Travis Horn. You guys want to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
That was easy. So a lot of you might recognize their names. So Travis and Joe are on our support team, and a lot of you have exchanged emails, tickets, or maybe even had a call with them or two. So I can't thank them enough for being there. You guys, they're working really long hours to help you and to make sure that you get what you need to get started with booj. But they're going to be answering questions behind the scenes today, and we'll even ask them aloud as well. But feel free to type in your questions in the Q&A box, and they will be assisting. So welcome, New England and Midwest. So grab your coffee, let's get started. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover the whole booj system, meaning the CRM and the websites. So what we're going to talk about is what I know a lot of you were expecting live training this week, and believe me, we were excited to be out there. I'm so sorry. I'm missing my Wisconsin people, and Maureen was supposed to be out as well. So thank you for adjusting to these times with us. I hope you're all safe and healthy and well in your families. So I know everyone's trying, there's some funny things going around the internet and on TV about what it's like to be holed up at home, and you think it sounds like a wonderful thing, but I know for a lot of you it's been a struggle because you're used to being very active, as am I. So, but let's stay in this together. Let's support each other. Let's stay positive, and let's have some fun today, okay? So on the platform of booj, here's what we're going to cover in this 2-hour period. We're going to go over the CRM and all the some of the main features. We're going to go over the websites. We're going to give you some ideas on what you can do to design your website. And throughout, of course, we encourage questions. So when it comes to booj, this is a company that we acquired, meaning Remax LLC, a couple of years ago, so 2018, and super excited about it. None of us really knew what it was. We were all at the R4 convention when they announced it, but what it involves is a full ecosystem for the first time ever. All Remax.com and all of the Remax websites, office team and agent sites are all on the same platform. They're all integrated. So it's fantastic. And it's going to make things a lot more seamless. So we're going to cover the CRM. There's also a mobile app for the CRM. If you've been looking for anything but the CRM app, there's no website app that exists. So in case you're wondering, but there is a booj CRM mobile app. And that is actually what you will be looking for when you go to download it. So Remax.com, after being hosted by Homes.com after several years, moved over to the booj platform at the end of January. So now everything is all on one platform. So once again, I want to talk about support. Sorry that the text is overlapping there, but Joe and Travis are part of our awesome INTEGRA support team, and they work just for INTEGRA. They support the entire North American membership, which includes Ontario Atlantic, and they are here for you guys. So what you want to do is, first of all, I love hearing from you, but all week I've been getting a ton of emails with questions after these webinars. Please don't email me directly. Please go directly to our support team. They have an email address, support@remaxintegra.com. I think it went off the screen here, but support@remaxintegra.com. You can also go to maxhelpsyou.com and submit a question or an inquiry. There's a huge knowledge base on the Max Helps You section and that whole portal. And you can get to that outside of all the Remax systems. It's its own site, its own domain. And you can also schedule a call with one of our support specialists. They have a calendar there for you to sign up for time slots if you want to go over some of your tools. But this team is ready. And like I said, they're putting in some long hours. So we really appreciate that you go to them and they're there to help. So again, that's maxhelpsyou.com. And lots of articles, and not just on booj, by the way. It's Design Center, and anything else in the Remax technology world. So one of the things that will happen that you will start getting on Tuesdays, sometime in April, maybe early May, you're going to be part of the distribution for the newsletter that comes out from Remax LLC every Tuesday called Recharge. And what that's going to be is you're going to see the latest and greatest product releases and updates on booj. And also there's going to be webinar schedules. There's going to be other tech things going on. I know there's some new announcements that were made at R4 about Megaphone First and some of these other tools. So Recharge is designed for the Remax technology. So, but pay attention to those when they start coming, because there's going to be some really good information on there. So there's also going to be on Remax University, there's going to be ongoing webinars. The Remax LLC team is working really hard to keep up with how the product changes and put tutorial videos onto the booj platform, or excuse me, onto Remax University and onto that platform. So we are publishing these recordings, by the way, of these trainings. I just put one public yesterday on YouTube so that it's easy for you to find. We're going to be putting them all on Remax University as well. So one of the things that you'll really like about booj is this blue question mark, like you see right here. For your booj account, it's going to be in the bottom right corner. And what you'll be able to do in this blue question mark is you will actually be able to go in and do a walkthrough with a tool called Pendo. If you want to see how to import a contact, I'll show you when we get live into the program, how it will prompt you and on where to click and where to go. So it does it right there inside of the program. It's awesome. And the other thing is you'll also be able to submit, this is what's great about having our own technology. We own booj. So there's no more third parties involved. And we have access to the developers. You can submit product feedback and suggestions directly through this blue question mark. I'll show you how to do that. And I think you'll really enjoy that. So now they're not necessarily going to respond right away, and you may not get your wishes right away, but if they get enough requests on certain features, they will prioritize that. So you have a voice, and I just want you to know that. So when it comes to Facebook, there's actually a Facebook group that you guys can join, which is not sanctioned or run by Remax LLC or INTEGRA, but what it is, it's your peers that have a group called Remax Tech and Tools. And now that we're all on the same technology, you can see how your peers are using booj. There's best practices. Some of the regions first got it in August, and it's evolved so much. So there's some really cool things that are happening. So also for support, please check out Remax University for all the booj videos. As I mentioned, the Remax LLC team is working really hard to put a lot of content in there on a regular basis. There's tons of videos. They're categorized, as you can see, by CRM and website. And for those of you that are new to Remax, you're taking on a lot already, just learning the Remax way. So I would take your time, pace yourself, and go through each of these sections and watch the videos as they're recommended in this order for sure. So here's some important things to know about booj. So it is optimized for Chrome, but I do want to reiterate that you can use it on Safari and Firefox. We've had a lot of questions on this week, and just want to let you know that it has proven to work, meaning being able to access the back end of it on the Safari or Firefox browsers. It is optimized for Chrome, and when we say that, that doesn't mean consumers can't view remax.com or your websites on any browser, because they can. It more has to do with the back end, especially the website, and how you're able to access those fields and do some editing. So one of the other things that we're finding in the training world, so when I was out in the field, what I saw was that when you're using a Surface, a tablet of some sort, or even an iPad, you're not going to be able to see all of the fields on the back end, especially on the website. So you're better off editing and doing your work on a desktop. So I just want to point that out. If you're trying to use your iPad and you're missing some fields, rather than put in a ticket, I recommend you jump onto a PC or a MacBook or MacBook Air and do that. And one other thing that we found as well that I want to mention, for those of you that have Macs, I have one as well. If you don't have Office on your Mac and you download the import sample template for importing contacts, you may not get it to open up right. It might look strange when you open it. So you may have to have someone with a PC or any type of device that has Office. You might have to open it there and then send it to yourself. So I just want to make note of that. Those are some of the key things when it comes to accessing booj that I've noticed out in the field. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to focus on your Mac Center profile is going to be Command Central, where all of your information and your data and your profile info and all of that is supposed to be there. So we're moving away from Launchpad profile updating, and everything's going to live inside of Mac Center. So we'll go into there when we get into the website section. So one of the things I just want to point out, the lead street migration, and we'll show you how to access that. It's worked off and on during this preview period. So what we're going to encourage you to do is to hold off if you can and wait until March 31st to do that migration, because we're finding that not all the contacts are coming over. And if you do it and you see that they don't come over, please report it to our support team. But we just know there's a known issue right now. So we just want to kind of discourage that if you can hold off, and I'll show you where to access that. Okay, so some features. Now, as of March 31st, that's when our leads will go live through the booj platform into your booj system. So one of the things we've noticed, though, you might see a few leads sneak in. If someone goes to your profile page on remax.com and they click the button to contact this agent, then it might come in, because I've done some testing and I see that it does come through as a remax.com lead. So pay attention to those, but for the time being, you're still getting your leads through Lead Street. So you definitely need to pay attention to those, and you need to follow up with those as well. So a little bit of back and forth these next couple of weeks. So some of the features are not available to you until March 31st. So one of those is the texting feature out of this CRM mobile app. So just want to point that out. And then, of course, one of the things we know for sure is that you will have Lead Street access through April. So you'll be able to access any content, contacts, or anything that you've not brought over inside of there. One of the things, and we'll give you plenty of reminders, so we basically get a 30-day grace period. Note, leads will not go through Lead Street as of March 31st. So one of the things too is the newsletter that a lot of you were using already went out this month. It went out last week. That's the end of the newsletter. So it will not go out in April. That's been confirmed. And just wanted to let you know if you need to make alternative marketing plans. So the next thing is, and everyone, just really quick, I see that there's chat box popping up and things like that. If you could please put your questions in the Q&A box so that we can export those and use those for reports and build articles and help you with that, that would be great. So please type in your questions into the Q&A folder. That would be the best for Travis and Joe behind the scenes answering those questions. So, all right. So also, this is really important for broker owners and managers on this webinar today. If you have not heard from the RE/MAX LLC company called 73, this is the data warehouse for RE/MAX LLC. 73 should have contacted you and gave you instructions and on how to fill out your IDX agreement for your office. You must fill this out. You must have this approved before agents can enable or publish their websites, their individual websites, as well as teams. So if you've not heard from them or haven't seen that, or maybe you thought it was spam when you got the email, please reach out to our support team and they can help you with that. And finally, maxhelpsyou.com is going to be your go-to for help. So really interesting. So since 2006, this has been recorded by RE/MAX. There's been 22 million leads that has gone through remax.com, which is just unbelievable. And just so you know all the channels where those come from. So first of all, remax.com is the main site. It's everything. It's our storefront for RE/MAX. The mobile app. So the RE/MAX mobile app has gotten a new look as well. We're going to explore that in the website section. Global.remax.com. This is how the world searches for real estate. It's translated in over 40 different languages. You can get leads from there. It exists, and you should talk about this in your listing presentations with respect to exposure on what listings will have in the RE/MAX system. And then RE/MAX Collection is going through a rebranding. In the past, it was known as remaxcollection.com, the luxury side of our business, and it's now being rebranded remax.com/luxury. And then, of course, there's the commercial piece. So as of right now, there are no immediate plans to move RE/MAX Commercial over to booj. It's going to remain on the Reliance platform. So for those of you that do commercial business, stay tuned. But unfortunately, we don't have any recent updates on anything that's happening there. Okay, so let's talk about remax.com lead routing. By the way, I'm going to be using slides and then I'm going to go live into the program. So we'll be a little bit of back and forth. So remax.com lead routing, this is really important. So RE/MAX got together with brokers and agents in focus groups. And really what came out of all those focus groups before booj was even launched is that it's really important, no matter what, that the consumer gets acknowledged and the consumer has a choice. And what's been instituted on remax.com is the ability for them to choose a preferred buyer's agent. So as of January 31st, remax.com has this new feature. When a consumer registers, they can choose a preferred buyer's agent. I'm going to show you, I have screenshots of how it looks and what they'll be able to do. But just to let you know, preferred buyer's agent is the highest of hierarchies. So what that means is they'll actually be able, you actually will be able to see in their contact record virtually everything they're doing on all of the RE/MAX sites, what they're searching, what they're saving, what they're favoriting. So you'll be able to see all of that. And that's the highest of hierarchies. Assigned agent. So you will be an assigned agent if someone goes to your booj website, or if you get the lead, you are the assigned agent because it's yours. And that's regardless of what listing it is or anything else, it's your website. You become the assigned agent when you receive a lead, whether it's a re-offer because someone missed it, or it's a zip code lead and you accept it. So when you accept a lead, you become the assigned agent. An office can assign you a lead, your team can assign you a lead. So when you become an assigned agent, you also have the ability to see a lot of the activity, not to the highest level of the preferred buyer's agent and certain notifications, but you get to see quite a bit. So you become that existing assigned agent. When it comes to your listings, you will get your own listing leads if this person obviously doesn't have a PBA. So you will get your own listing leads if it's this person's first time ever to remax.com and is not associated with someone else. So just like before, nothing's changed there. And then of course, random zip code leads, or if someone just submits a lead inquiry, your office website will be routing leads to as well, as will the office bio page that they have on remax.com. So again, the consumer is first and foremost. We are prioritizing the consumer because we know consumers are not loyal. So if they don't hear from one of us in 5 minutes, they're going to move on into another company, and we don't want that. So the consumer has a choice, they get acknowledged, but more importantly, they get to choose who they work with. So how it looks, when a consumer goes to register on remax.com, they will be prompted to check this box right here. I am working with a RE/MAX agent. And then what happens is they can type in your first or last name, and a list of agents in that area are going to pop up, and then they will populate your name. They'll just click on your name right here and your name will populate right here in this box. And when they register, you get notified that you have the lead and you're the PBA, and then you can start looking at all of their activity, and I'll show you when we get in the program how that works. Travis and Joe, are we okay on questions, or should I just keep moving through?
No, I have one. I guess I don't know if you can answer this, but when will it be a seamless transfer of contacts from Google?
So that's coming in the next phase. So that, from what we're told, contacts from Google, we'll get into that as well here in a section. I'll show you where it will exist or where it will live. So contacts and calendars for Google Outlook and iCalendar will be happening in the next 30 to 45 days. It might be sooner. So, and I'm giving a little cushion on there because you know how technology is, but it's supposed to be available in the next release. And we're hoping by the end of this month, but I'm just going to add a 30-day cushion to that. So that's a good question. And I know you're all anxious for it. So anything else that we can answer now?
I have one. Just if you have any additional information on this, do you know any information about how like leads will work with teams?
So you'll have the ability to route leads. Just so anyone that's on a team or a team leader, we are going to schedule our next round of webinars in the next few days. We're going to release a new schedule, and one of the webinars will be focused on teams, and one will be focused on broker owners, and one will be focused on all of you as agents, and everyone will know what to expect come March 31st. So there is a process involved. There's lead routing where you can choose. So remax.com lead routing, none of us can touch. That is done at the highest level in the network. When it comes to your team websites and your office websites, you'll be able to choose lead routing rules such as your hours of acceptance, how many agents at a time get it, you know, that sort of thing. So that lead routing does exist, and it'll become live and available on the 31st. So we will have webinars to show that. So that's a great question. All right, let me keep moving through so we can get into the program. Thanks, guys. So lead routing, so once again, this came from working with our brokers and agents and consumers. And of course, the assigned agent, once again, is when you accept a lead, and they don't necessarily have to choose you as a preferred buyer's agent, but you become an assigned lead or assigned agent. Listing agent, this is where you get the lead on your own listing, again, if they're not attached to another agent. And then finally, zip codes. So we're going to get into the program, and we're going to look at how to sign up those or to add those zip codes to your account. You can choose 10 just like before. What's going to be different though is that you can't repeat zip codes. So it does not make a difference and does not carry any weight in that regard. So one of the things that's been instituted is the acceptance hours in each of your local time zones. So we have Central and Eastern in the RE/MAX INTEGRA US. And for each of your time zones from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., you have 1 hour to accept the leads that you get sent to you. So whether it's your listing or a non-RE/MAX listing or what have you. So it's going to be a 1 hour acceptance period. Now, what's different that you're not used to from Lead Street is once you miss that first hour, you will get taken out of the pool. So unfortunately, you're not able to accept the lead beyond that 1 hour. So it becomes deactivated for you. It will then get reoffered to someone that's signed up for the zip code of that particular listing, and that will go every 15 minutes until someone accepts it. So that's how that works. So very similar to what we had before, except that you are taken out of the lead pool. So I'm just imploring everyone, please don't miss your leads. Even if you're too busy, accept it, refer it to someone else in the office and get a referral or do a referral. So one of the things that remax.com lead routing has instituted is the round robin. This is something that you can choose at the team and office level as well, or you can choose where it goes out to everyone. So there's a couple different options you'll have. Round robin means exactly what you think. And it's an old school term, but you know what that means is as soon as you get a lead, you're gonna have to go to the back of the line. Sorry, but that's what it means. And you're gonna have to go to the back of the line and wait until your turn again. So when there's a reoffer situation, what the system will do, what booj will do, is they will look for the agent in that zip code that is signed up for that zip code that has gone the longest without a lead. So in order to be fair, because I know a lot of you have had a lot of questions over the years about this. So the person that has gone the longest without a lead will get that lead reoffered to them. And again, if they miss it, it'll go to the second longest that hasn't received a lead and third longest and so forth and so on. And again, this is 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Now, just as to clarify, if a lead comes in outside of 10 p.m., then you have until 8 a.m. the next morning to accept it. So you don't get an extra cushion, an extra hour. You need to accept it right away. So it's in the past, we had hours like 9 to 5. Hey, this is not a 9 to 5 business. So with these hours of 8 to 10 are brand new for us, and just wanted you to be aware of that. So lead eligibility, you need to have at least one zip code plugged into your booj account in order to be eligible for leads. So you can choose up to 10, but at least one. You also cannot miss 3 leads in a row. If you miss 3 leads in a row, then your broker is going to have to re-enable you. Your broker owner will have to re-enable you, or your manager. So don't miss leads. That's the whole, the moral of the story here. Never, don't ever miss leads. Let's talk a little bit about lead routing with the agent websites. So that's a big part of this. So you have your own standalone booj website. So I know we've been waiting forever for these. So we're so excited to get going with those, but you have that. So what happens is when a consumer visits your website, just like any website you've ever had, all the leads come to you. And this is regardless. They can find RE/MAX listings on your site because it's full IDX. They can find anything on your website. All the lead inquiries, all the contact me, all of that will come directly to you. This is regardless if this consumer has a preferred buyer's agent on RE/MAX.com, regardless of who the listing agent is, or if they have an assigned agent. You become the assigned agent in that respect. So technically, yes, this person can exist in more than one agent's database. But what'll happen is if you're the preferred buyer's agent, you get notified that your client was browsing and did some lead activity on another agent's website. You will not be able to see who the agent is. It could be like Hunger Games, right? But that's not what's going to happen. So, but we'll talk more about that when we get into the system. So that's how that works. So what happens when a lead comes in from your website, just like any other lead, it'll come right into your booj CRM. You'll be notified. And again, like I said, if you're a preferred buyer's agent, then you will be notified that there is something going on with your client and they're looking at somebody else's website. So just want to point that out. And by the way, if someone does submit a lead inquiry to your website, that does not automatically make you the preferred buyer's agent. They have to choose you on RE/MAX.com. So I can already picture a flyer in my mind that you could send out that basically instructs people to register on RE/MAX.com, choose you as the preferred buyer's agent. I know this is going to be a big change for a lot of you, but we could have some fun with it. And it's a reason to get in touch with people. Hey, if you're stuck at home, browse RE/MAX.com, check things out. And by the way, here's some instructions, choose me as your preferred buyer's agent. So we could really turn this into a prospecting opportunity, or maybe just a get back in touch opportunity and check in with your people, with your clients. How do leads get into booj? So we've already talked about several options. So obviously from websites, from Agent Office and Teams, RE/MAX.com. You can also have third-party sources like lead parsers come in. So we'll look at the next slide, but that'll be such as Zillow, any place that you're generating leads from there's 3 that are available to do right now. So also the agent app, so the personally branded mobile app for RE/MAX, which we're going to talk through here in the next hour. And we will talk through that on how you can personally brand the RE/MAX mobile app for you and your clients. So that's what's happening. So lead parsing. So what this means is you can actually connect these platforms. These 3 right now are what are available. So what you're going to be able to do is to take a specific unique identifier, an email address I'll show you in the system that's provided to you, and you can paste that into the field of your Realtor.com profile, your Zillow profile, or HomeSpotter to forward leads to. And this is just like what we did with Lead Street, which a lot of you did, just like 5 Street in the past. So it's the same concept, and you'll be able to bring these in. So I was at a session at R4 in Vegas, and there is talk in the future of adding Facebook leads to this to be parsed in. That was a big request, so that could be down the road. Hopefully we'll see something like that this summer. And there were some other requests out there as well, but these tend to be the most common lead parsers that have been requested by the other regions. So lead acceptance, when you start getting leads through the booj account on March 31st and beyond, you will be able to, you'll see those leads will come through. You'll see in-app push notifications. So just like we're in such a notification world and all of our other apps, so this will be just like anything else. And then you've got email. So on your email, when that is sent, you'll actually get those by email, I should say. And then on the desktop, you'll have notifications, and then of course by text message. And that will not be happening again until March 31st. So I'm going to go live into the system. While I'm doing that, Travis and Joe, are there any questions that we should pause to answer? Nope.
Nope.
Okay. All right, thanks. And everyone, please, once again, please put your questions in the Q&A box, and Joe and Travis can answer those, and then we can pause. And Joe and Travis, please interrupt me at any point in time if you feel that we should ask a question aloud or answer a question aloud. So, all right. So let's go into the platform. So what you want to do is you want to be in Mac Center, which is remax.net. So that's the old Main Street. We've been using that forever, but it's remax.net. And then what you want to do is go to your apps. So I'm in a demo account. So when you first open your Mac Center, it might look a little bit different. You'll have a home screen. You'll have more content than I will. But then you want to find the booj app. Now notice my booj app shows up very front and center. That's because I took the time to favorite it, and you should do the same thing. So color in the little flag and then it'll show up first. So I'm going to open up the program here. Now by default, you're always going to go to the booj CRM dashboard. Okay. Now, if there's some of you watching this webinar right now that have not gone through the setup wizard, you're going to be in a different place. There's a little timeline across the top, and then you're basically going to have 5 screens to power through. I ask that if you want to follow along with us, please go ahead to the bottom of your screen, accept the terms, and then keep hitting next on the next 5 or 6 screens, because we're going to now go into those notifications and settings inside the program. So you're not going to miss out on anything. So once again, just keep hitting next in the bottom right of your screen, get all the way to your dashboard. So your dashboard, when you open it up for the very first time, will be blank. What I've done is I've actually set up these widgets. So these widgets, what they are is this is going to be a snapshot of what's happening in your booj account every day as you open this up. So what you can do is you can click right here where it says edit widgets. And you can actually, so for those of you that have not done this yet, there will be a box that will pop up that'll say add widgets, and it'll give you an opportunity to add campaigns, contacts, deals, and different features like that. So just to let you know, I've already done it, and a lot of you have as well. So again, once you really start using the booj system, you're going to see that there's a lot of activity. You'll be able to jump in here and say, oh yeah, here's the latest interactions I've had with contacts. This deal's about to close. You'll just really get used to it. And again, I want to make sure all of you are aware we're going to go through a lot today, but there's also those Remax University videos that are little sound bites on each and every feature inside of the booj system. So I just want to point that out. And there is one about dashboard. So notice right here, it's giving me an alert. Some of you might see this, that I need to set up some zip codes. So if you see that, let's go ahead and just click through here. We're going to click update here. Now I'm not actually going to enter any, but update here and you get your zip codes. For the rest of you, if you want to get to this screen, if you don't have this red banner, you're going to go up here to the top right corner and you're going to click on settings. So in the settings, there's going to be several things that you can do. And this is where you can set up your calendar. Now there's a calendar that lives inside of booj. Right now, as we just mentioned earlier, it is not synced up with Google, with Outlook or iCalendar, but in the future it will be. We're hoping to see that in the next 30 days. And we'll have lots of announcements around that. So, but in the meantime, you can still use your calendar inside of the booj platform, just like any other calendar, and just to keep you organized. So you can actually go there. But what I want you to do is click right here where it says settings pages. Now, it's set up as the calendar right here, but we're going to go to contacts and leads. Contacts and leads will have its own settings. Now inside of here, it actually is where you would go. So when you open up a contact, what do you want to see on the contact and lead start tab? So again, when you first go into contacts and leads, what do you want to see? I have the dashboard, but maybe you want to see more specific activity. So you can choose what you want your view to look like. So right here under, this is where you would go back and do the lead street import. So as I mentioned, please try to hold off on that if you haven't done it already. But once again, you're going to go to settings, because we get a lot of questions on this. Where do I go? Settings, settings pages, contacts and leads. And then you're going to go to this section right here where it says general. And that's where you get to the lead street import. When you click this yes button, notice there's no save button or anything else. Within just a few minutes, it should port over, but you may also want to give it some time. So if you want to try it, you can, but we're just going to let you know that it possibly won't work at this time. Do we have any new updates on that, Joe or Travis?
No, I haven't heard any updates on it yet.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and ask you to hold off if you can till the 31st. Thanks. All right, so notifications. This is something you would have done in the initial setup wizard. And I want to go over these again with you. So notifications are important because this is how you get notified of all your lead activity. If they're coming in, if they're, what's happening with those, the contact or lead. So here's some really important ones. Obviously, I would always recommend to check off every opportunity to get notified of new lead activity. So contact or lead shared or unshared with me. So what this is, I'll show you when I get into a record, if someone shares a contact with you, what they have done is, so this will happen in the instance of a referral. So any RE/MAX agent in the entire US can share a contact with any agent in the US. So this is something that we had before, the old lead street, where you were able to share contacts or transfer contacts to someone in your region, but now you can actually do it with the whole country. So when you work out a referral with an agent in another state, then you can actually share your contact with them. So what that means is there's a difference between sharing and sending, and I'll show you that when we get into there. So that works out really good. That means that someone actually sent you or shared a contact with you. And you can do this within each office, but again, just to let you know, this is the power of the RE/MAX network. So contact or lead updated their PBA. So remember what we said earlier? So if someone actually can remove you as a preferred buyer's agent as easily as they can choose you, and when they update it, you do get notified. Now, they don't get deleted from your database. They're still in there, but you are notified. Now, I want you to be really careful with this information. So I wouldn't call them and say, hey, why'd you fire me? Or why did you choose somebody else? I'm so hurt. So be careful with it, but maybe just check in. Hey, I just want to see how things are going. And use that information wisely, because we have access to a lot of intelligence now. So the other thing that could happen is a contact or lead can delete their account off of remax.com. Now, again, that does not mean they're removed from your database, but once you see that, you may want to pay attention to that also and do a quick check-in with them. Maybe not right after that happens, but you could even just, maybe wait a day or so and just check in with them to see how things are going. So lead assigned to you. So your office or a team can assign a lead to you. You'll be notified, and then lead offered to you. A lead offering, of course, is when you get the initial lead offering, a brand new lead, or you get a re-offer. So that's what that is. Import and export of your contacts. It's always good to know that that took place and that it completed. So I'm going to keep moving through, and Joe and Travis, just let me know if there's any questions. Tags. So just so you know what tags are. Tags are actually categories that you can assign to your leads. So categories will be just like a lot of you've used in previous CRMs, buyer, seller, preferred partner, whatever they are, part of your golf buddies or whatever it is. So you can actually go in here. So this is a list. It shows you the system assigned tags. So you've got the grayed out tags right here. The golf outing here, I added myself, but you can add your own tags. And when you add it here, that it is available for you to choose on any contact that's in the system. So what you want to do is you can actually go up here to the top, and you can click where it says add tag. So I'm going to add my own. So maybe I'm going to add, I think I already have open house in here, but I'll double check. So this is, yeah, see, it already exists. Let's do, this is a charity event. And I can choose a color just to kind of give it some distinction. We're going to choose orange. So I know that I have a charity event every year, and I want to keep track of those people that I met there and where they came from. So see how it's now populated in here. We have golf outing, preferred partner, walk-in, and all of that. So the system actually added open house. So that's why I didn't need to add it. But anything that I've added on my own, I can assign a different color to it. So things like it could be, when we add a contact, we'll talk about some of the tags that you can use, and you can add them there too. Let's talk about custom fields. So this is what's interesting. So you can actually, I want to demo this to you live. So I'm actually going to delete this one. So let's talk about custom fields. Those of you that have used some really robust contact management systems, and I know a lot of you are right now, and here's the thing, I really encourage you to really give booj a chance and to start working with it and just wait for some of these awesome product releases that are going to happen this year. And maybe at the end of this year or even sooner, you can determine if booj is going to be your primary CRM. It's already included in your Remax tools and maybe could possibly save you some ancillary dollars. So what are some things you would want? So custom fields would be, what are things you want to know about your clients? And the system automatically has the basics: name, address, email, anniversary date for home, you know, those kind of things. When we get into the contact record, we'll do that. But if you want to add a custom field, here's an example of one that might work. So first of all, you can add, notice I had one that said kids' names. You can add 12 custom fields. So and what I did was I chose kids' names and text input. So that means they actually have to type the names of the kids into there. You have to type the name of the kids into there. Now, you could also do a date picker. So they always have home anniversary, birthday, and that sort of thing. But what if you have their wedding anniversary? If you want to take it a step further, what if you have, you know, maybe whatever, you can come up with dates that are important, milestones. Maybe it's their kids' birthdays, that sort of thing. But one that you could do that's really interesting is, so if I choose the drop-down select, here's what I can do. How about the client's timing? So when are they actually going to make a decision? When are they actually going to move? So I'm going to click next. And now what it's going to ask me to do, because I chose the drop down, I need to now put in some items for drop down. So this person it's about timing. So 0 to 30 days. I'm going to add the next option, which will be 30 to 60. I'm going to add the next option, which will be 60 to 90. And then my last one is going to be 90 plus. So this is probably the best example I could think of. And feel free to borrow that or use that as well. So once I put all my information, I'm going to hit save. So I will show you when we get into a contact record how you will select that inside of the contact record. So I'm sure you can come up with some really creative things of what to use these custom fields for, because there's certain things that you like to know. This is your database and you can customize it. So integrations, so this is where the future Gmail, Outlook, and iCloud or iContact syncs will be. So you will have the ability to sync up all of those contacts and work and bring those into booj. In the meantime, though, you'll have to do it manually, and I'll show you how to do that. Offered leads, so again, this is where you go for zip codes. So I know it'd be easy if it said zip codes, but it says offered leads. So once again, we are in the settings of contacts and leads. This is where you need to enter your zip codes. So remember, you have to have at least one to be eligible for leads, but I ask that you choose 10. Now, some of you are maybe in more rural areas where there really isn't 10 zip codes available. And in the past, you might have repeated zip codes, but here's what I would ask you to do. So think about casting a wider net for leads this year. And more importantly, just know that there's Remax offices everywhere. So you can, if nothing else, you can get a referral out of it, but go ahead and put some zip codes in that might be a little farther out, an hour or two from where you normally do business. And like I said, just work with other Remax agents in that area, but put 10 zip codes in, give yourself a fighting chance and give yourself as much opportunity as possible. These filters right here. Now in the initial setup wizard, we found that a lot of you chose the wrong things here. And what I mean is, this is kind of a trick question. So it actually says, check the boxes for leads you do not want to receive, okay? So some of you might be looking at your screen right now and going, uh-oh, so you gotta uncheck all those boxes. So what type of leads do you not want to receive? Trick question again. So make sure, I mean, you really shouldn't have anything checked off unless you're just totally opposed to any of these types of leads. And I hope that's not the case. Again, always opportunities for referrals, even if it's not your expertise. So make sure that's left blank again, unless you have some very specific reason why that you don't want those leads. Enter your cell phone number into the text message area if you haven't already. You do not have to enter a wireless carrier like in the past. All right, how are we doing on questions?
We're good right now. We did have a suggestion to see if you could slow down a little bit.
Okay. Well, so I will slow down. However, we have a lot of content to get through, so I apologize. I know this is not the live training you were hoping for, but I do want to say we have a lot of content to get through. I do have to move at a steady pace, and we are recording this, so you will be able to, I'll get you the recording right away so you can go back and pause it. But you know, I will do my very best. So I'm sorry if it's going too fast, This is the virtual world that we're living in. So we will stop and have questions, and I hope that this is going to be helpful. So thanks for making the adjustment with us. All right, so again, I just went through all the settings for contacts and leads. There's still a lot more inside of this area where it says settings pages that we can go through. So let's look at, we're gonna be working on deals and all of that. If you click right here, so under settings, so settings right here, and we're gonna go to where it says system. I wanna show you where you can set up your integrations. So I'm gonna go right here. And what I mean by integrations is these are the lead parser and so let's go back in again. I'm not getting anything here. So settings pages, system, and integrations. And I don't know why it's not loading. This is actually where, hopefully it's loading for you, but this is where you can add DocuSign, ZipLogix, and .loop for a paperless transaction to work with your deals here inside of booj. You can also, that's where you would set up your lead parsers. So I'm not sure why it's not loading for me, but we're not going to spend a lot of time here. But where this should exist and where this should live, I'll try refreshing again, is once again, it's going to go, yeah, I'm not getting, so Travis and Joe, you might want to make note of that. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that. Settings pages, system, and integrations is where it should show how you connect .loop, DocuSign, ZipLogix for your paperless, and then for your deals. And then also that's where you set up your lead parsers. So, okay. And I'm in a demo account, so it could have to do with that as well. So also under settings, let's take a jump over to contacts and leads. So we'll come back to this. Let's go to contacts and leads. And now what I want you to do is, if you do not have any contacts in here, if you could follow along with me, and let's all take a turn on entering a contact into here. You are going to always be manually entering contacts. So the leads will not always come from remax.com, will not always come from another place. But let's go ahead and click where it says add or import. And again, I keep seeing the chat box flashing, so please put your questions in the Q&A box, not the chat section, because we can actually export a report off of those and make sure we get you some good information after this. So thanks everyone. So add or import. So right here, you want to click on the contacts or leads, and then we're going to click on add individual. So again, we're in contacts and leads, we're in add or import, and we're going to add individual. So if you haven't done this already, I'd like you to add yourself as a contact, so, or anyone. So I'm just going to add, let's see, we'll just put in, I have George Clooney in here, might as well do Brad Pitt. All right, so we're putting in a contact name. Now here's what's interesting about this. Every time you get a lead from remax.com and it comes in, it's actually going to come in as a lead. And the reason it is because the system is determining that it's a lead, and also that it is not been qualified, and that it's not necessarily what you would call a contact, someone that you're working with, that you've made a connection with, that you're actively helping. So you can actually bring this in as a lead or a contact. If you put this person in as a lead, then that means you just met them and you still have to do some work to qualify them. But contact just means, hey, this is someone I know, I just met them, and I'm just going to put them in my database, and I know that I can reach out to them. So what you want to do is choose the tag. So how did you meet this person? Now you can actually type in a name here. So you're going to have unique situations. Met them at Starbucks, met on my flight, although a lot of you aren't flying right now. Starbucks is closed, at least in my state it is. It's crazy. But let's say that you met them somewhere. So, and it's a unique situation, or maybe it's a parents group. Those of you that participate with your kids' schools, there's a parents group for sports, and you just put it in. So you type it in here and hit enter. Now, not only is it entered here, but it is now on all of your list of tags and can be chosen in the future for other contacts that you add. So we're going to leave this as a contact, put in the phone number. So I'll just make one up. And we're just going to do it like this. If you choose other, it's going to ask you to do custom labels, so you don't need to put anything there. And then email address. And then you click add. So like I said, I just want you to practice. And for those of you that are, by the way, licensed assistants, we are hoping to see very soon to have your own account. But for the time being, you may be logging in as a team leader or an agent that you're working with, but you may be entering contacts into there, and this is the way to do it for them. Okay, so now you should have at least one contact. I want to show you what's really awesome about the search filters in these contacts. So right here, you've got under first name, you can search by first name, by last name, by phone number. One of the things you can do is set up, how do you want to search your database? So if you go right here where it says manage filters, you can actually add all of these different ways to search your database. So especially tags, we just spent the time setting up tags. If I click here, now I can search my database by tag. And when I hit this drop down, notice that it pulls up all of my tags. So let's say I want to search by, you know, golf outing, and it's only one person, but in your case, you'll have more. So you can actually search your database by that. What are other choices? Take time to look at this. So you can actually search by, as you can see here, hey, I want to see who's having a birthday today. And you search here, and then you can send them a card, you can go on social media, but these are all some really awesome tools that we've never had that you can set up your own searchable filters. Okay, let's talk about, so really quick before we get into a contact record, I want to talk about importing a list. So if you click right here where it says add or import, we're going to go into import list. Now, there are 3 systems that are integrated with the booj platform that are external CRM, so Boomtown, Chime, and Follow Up Boss. There is talk of Top Producer and BombBomb being next in the next release, and there are others coming down the road. So these are some of the most popular that they were getting requests for. In the meantime, if you want to either do your Gmail contacts, Outlook, or whatnot, or wait till the end of this month, you can actually go ahead and download, there's a template that is recommended to use, and it's a download template. So when you click here, it's going to drop into your downloads and import sample document. And this is actually what it's going to look like. Now, this is where I mentioned earlier, if you have a Mac and you don't have Office on your Mac, or you don't have the ability to open up a spreadsheet, then it's going to open up really strange. So you're going to need to go to a PC. But I have Office on my Mac, so this is opened up for me. Now, what I ask you to do on this is you can remove all the sample text, but the column headers actually need to remain as they are. Okay, so the column headers need to remain as they are. And what's really important is, especially, so we got a lot of questions on this in the sessions we did earlier this week about how do I import contacts all with the same tag? Well, all you need to do is you can use this spreadsheet. You copy and paste your contacts into here from wherever they came from, MLS, Gmail, your phone, what have you. You can actually, you put a tag right here, and you can see it actually will allow you to import with 3 different tags. So you want to put that one single tag here next to every single contact record, and when you import it, it will bring that over. So the other thing is that we know for sure is that, first of all, the file format needs to be a CSV. And you can export a CSV from Top Producer or somewhere else, and you can import it as it exists. Booj is intuitive. It will actually map and match up fields for you, and it should work. So are there any other thoughts or tips on that, Joe or Travis, we should ask or we should provide the audience?
Sorry, what was that? I'm kind of...
So if you're importing a CSV that was exported from another contact record or another platform like Top Producer, anything on the mapping that I'm missing?
No, I don't think so. You can, like, with the headers of each column or whatever, you can match up once you go into Booj to what you want them to be, so they don't have to be exactly the same as, like with Lead Street, they had to be specific to what we wanted for Booj. You don't really have to.
Right.
So,
sure.
All
right, thank you.
With Booj to be able to upload contacts, in my opinion.
Okay, sounds good. And I'm sure I know you're getting a lot of tickets on that. So just so everyone understands too, is that So yeah, so you can actually, you can copy and paste. I mean, I still recommend using this as the best template. And like I said, you can add 3 different tags. Notice you can add notes, or notes can come over, and there's even birthday, property, and wedding anniversary, and any other important date. So again, if you don't see this, it does drop into your downloads, and you'll be able to go from there. So let's go back in.
Hey, Michelle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got a question for you. I've had a couple of people ask, what do you mean when you're referring to a lead parser?
So a lead parser is an external lead source. So that's Realtor.com, that's Zillow, that's the Home Spotter. Remember the slide that we showed earlier? So for some reason, I'm not able to pull it up, but you can go up here and see these say, whenever it says source here, it says manually entered. When you're bringing leads in from another platform, it'll actually say the source. It'll say Realtor.com or Zillow. If you go here, hopefully this is working on your end, go to your settings, go to settings pages, go to system, and then go to integrations. And I am not, for some reason, mine's not loading here. I don't know if it's because of the fact that I don't have zip codes, but it was working yesterday. So this is where it should show for all of you how you can connect. There's a box that you can click, how you can connect your Zillow and your Realtor.com leads. It provides you with an identifier to plug into your Realtor.com or your Zillow. That's what a lead parser is. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you.
Sure. I'm going to go back to contacts and leads. And once again, we're in this section. To find the import list, you need to go into here. And you need to click on, now once you get your template set up, and then you just click to upload it it'll search your desktop for you, and you can find it that way. And then it'll prompt you to move through the next screen. So just to let you know, that's how that works. All right, so I want to explore a contact record with you really quick and give you some tips on that. And then we'll make sure we have plenty of time for the websites. So let's just go ahead, the contact that you just entered, or if you have one in there, let's just go ahead and open up that contact by clicking on it once. So there's a lot of things happening here. So you can actually, one of the things that's coming, and once we start using booj and interacting with our clients, you can actually have a lead score assigned to your particular contact. And the only way to really make this, so just like any other platform, the information is only as good as what you put into it. So what will happen is that you will need to start using, and this is just something you're gonna have to get used to, using the booj CRM mobile app to contact your clients via text, email, or phone call. So you actually would open up the booj CRM app, open the contact record, and make that call, text, or email from there. Now you can't text until March 31st, but when you do this, then the system will log that particular activity, and then it's right here in all of your the user activity of that particular client. So it works out really good, and it's going to keep you organized. There is a chance, though, it's going to happen a lot where you're just not going to do it. You're going to forget, and you're going to just pick up your phone and call them like you normally do, or text them like you normally do. And when you start to think about it and you realize you forgot to use the CRM app, you can go here into the contact record and you can choose log. And this is where you can log a call, a meeting, or a note. So, or you could just, if you just put a note there, you could just say texted them or something like that. But you can actually log something that you've done or make a note just so you have record of it, okay? So remember earlier I talked about how you're going to be able to share contacts with other RE/MAX agents on the network, is when especially when you're doing a referral. So one of the places you would go for that is under actions. Now, if you send your contact to another agent, it is completely gone and out of your database. If you share it, it's still in your database, and then it's in theirs too. So you're going to need to make that decision when the time comes. And you may use that probably more than anything, and hoping that maybe that person will come back, or they'll give you referrals, or you at least can send them a Christmas card wherever they've moved to. But that's the difference between the two. Okay. So moving down the record here. So we are in the dashboard of the contact record. And as you can see, there's no interactions here. So if I logged a call, by the way, it'll show up right there. We'll just say I just called them and discussed price. And we'll just log the call. So as you'll see, it will show up. And when I add that, let me refresh. it will show up as an interaction or under their activity is what it will do. So there it is right there. Okay, so other things, so activities. So this is where you can do a couple of things. So under a contact record, I can add, let's say that I'm going to have an appointment with them and I want to add that to my calendar inside of booj. So just like any other calendar that I have, I can actually create this item. And here's something that I know in my training classes, I'm really encouraging everyone to use Google Calendar and actually invite the client so it's on their calendar too. So you can do the same thing here. You set up your appointment and you put in all the notifications. So that's going to be really important that there's reminders. It might be repeating, but most of the time not. It's just a one-off appointment. And right here where it says, here's the guest. And if you click this button here that says send invite upon save, this is going to send a calendar invite to your client so then they have it and they get notified as well. So most of your clients are used to this. They're used to using calendars in their workplace. So it will not be unusual at all for them to receive this from you. And then of course you put in the details here. So I just wanted to show you that. And one of the things we're finding is that sometimes you can use the back button in booj and sometimes you can't. It looks like that worked okay. So all right, I'm still in the record here. And now moving down the row. So what else can I do here? I can add a task. So a task is a to-do item. Now this can be personal, like, hey, I need to order business cards. It could be tied to a particular contact, like in this case, or a deal. So you're going to have the ability to manage deals inside of here if you keep track of your transactions on the buy and sell side, or buy and list side. So we've actually got right here, this could be high priority. Let's say I need to call this person and I need to call them by Saturday. And who is it assigned to? It's going to be me. Now, if you're a team leader, you're going to have the ability to assign tasks to your team members. And then put your item in here, need to discuss.
I have a question, Michelle, whenever you have a good time to stop.
Sure, price reduction. Go right ahead.
Someone asked for under actions, share versus send. Does send remove contact?
Yes.
Share keep contact or vice versa?
So share keeps the contact and send removes it. So just know probably you might want to use share all the time. I mean, people move and they come back, so you never know. But yeah, and then maybe work to update their address once they actually do move and stay in touch with them. So, but yeah, there is a difference. I mean, there might be instances like from those of you that are on teams where you're sharing contacts or you're too busy and you just want to go ahead and move that person over to another team member. That might be an instance where you use send. So good question. And
I have a question also.
Sure.
When adding info, for the notes, why would an agent want to make those notes public?
So public doesn't mean public like to the public. So so let's go to a note here. So let's see, log and a note. So public would mean like anyone that has access to your account. So if you are if you're an agent, then a broker owner could see it or a manager could see it. If you are a team member, your team leader can see it. But this could just be a note for yourself. And that's really what that means. So that's a good question. But it's not the client can't see it and it's not on social media. So, but I would think the same thing if I was looking too. So yeah, and then, so by the way, you can also adding the task can be tied. So again, it's a phone call and you're setting that up, which I just did. And in the future, just so you know, pay attention to this plus button up here. You can go up here in this toolbar at any time, hit the plus button. And if you hit add task, this is where you can add a task for anything, a deal for yourself and all of that. So, and then set up like I said, order business cards or something that you need to do, order some signs or whatever it is. Under activities, so again, you can apply a task plan. Now you have to create the task plans first before you can do that. So you can actually click right here. So where it says view task plans, I don't have any, I have a couple of them set up, but this is going to take you into settings and tasks. And what a task plan is, it's kind of like almost, you could compare it to a drip campaign, but that's not really, it's like a checklist. So you can have, for a new lead, you can set up a checklist of tasks that need to be done with a new lead and set them up in timing wise. You can also set up, obviously, a lot of you use checklists for closing your deals for buy or the list side. So you can, as you can see, those are already in here. So it could be whatever you want it to be. So you can add a task plan, and let's say that, you know, we'll just call it new lead, and we're going to click build task plan. And now I just keep adding to-dos to it. So maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's an email, maybe I'm going to mail something. So I can actually go through and do this. And that's how that works. So,
hey, I have another question real quick.
Sure.
Will you be able to upload templates for transaction management?
So transaction management, there's paperless integration, which is not showing on my screen right now, but for DocuSign, .loop, and ZipLogix, that is active, that is available today. If you have some other form or some other system, which I know, in fact, Minnesota does for their MLS, that they don't have any of those three, then you know, we're gonna reach out to booj and put some requests in to hopefully get that in the future. But as far as the deals themselves go, so let's go ahead. Let me go back to the contact record and I'll show you how to add a deal inside of the contact record, because this will happen a lot. So if you go to right here on the left-hand side, we're moving down the list. So deals. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to add a deal. So this will be, let's just say, I mean, this could actually be 2 deals. We're actually setting up, he's a seller of mine, but he has a pending offer, and now he also has a pending offer on a home that he's moving to. So the deal name, this is going to be on the list side. So what I'm going to do is go 123 Main Street, just name it. And this is going to be on the list side. And this is going to be pending. And then obviously, as you can see, you can change the status to closed. So what'll happen is if you're integrated with DocuSign or .loop or ZipLogix, is that there's not going to be really much manual entry involved, because it's going to integrate that information into this account. You might have to do, the way it should work is when you set up a deal, you'll be able, the integration should be there. And like I said, there's very little work involved. It's brand new for all of us. We don't have access to ZipLogix, DocuSign, or .loop to test it for you. And so we're in the process of gathering data from the RE/MAX LLC team to see exactly how that's going to work. And we'll cover that on the next round of webinars. So I know that some of you out there have tried to connect DocuSign, and there have been some known issues with that. The one thing that I would encourage you to do is you can contact those companies directly. So DocuSign, .loop, and ZipLogix. Again, we don't have access to those. We're not training on those, and we can't support those. But if you call them and you mention that you're with RE/MAX and you're connecting to booj, they have a protocol for that, so that they know what to do and they can get in touch with RE/MAX LLC or booj or any of the team. So, but please feel free too to reach out to our support team to let them know if you're having issues, and they can also help you find those answers. So when you're setting up a deal inside of a record, so this is what you do. So I've got a pending deal on for my seller. So I'm just going to plug in a price. So there we go. So there's the price, and then commission rate is whatever it needs to be for you. And then we're going to do a close date. We'll just pick April 30th. And then the primary participant is already here. So it's already in the contact record, but you could also, this is where you can have additional contacts. So it's still a best practice, like in our other systems we've had, for you to put in every person involved in the transaction as a separate contact record. Okay, so it's a co-borrower, it's a significant other spouse, put them in as a separate contact record, and then you can add another participant to this. You could even, if you want, add a lender, you could add an attorney, you could add whatever it is that you need to add. So we're just going to click add deal. So that will show up there. So now that's the sell side of the deal, but I can go ahead and now add the buy side. And again, if you're not planning to connect DocuSign or .loop or whatever, you're going to have the ability to it should be the click of a button where you integrate the information over. And we promise there are some videos on RE/MAX University, but it's more about the connection piece of it rather than using it inside of there. So we're just going to call this, here's the new property that he's buying, 234 Mulberry Street. And this is on the buy side, and this is also pending, and this is all in the range of 275. Wow, 2 million, that's a big commission. So 3%, and then the expected close date. We'll just do the same date. So then we hit save. And now it's very well possible to have 2 different deals going on one contact record. So, and then when you get into the deals section, it will show, and I see it tracks your GCI for you. So you kind of have a general idea what's coming in or what's expected. And then of course, when the deals close, you can do that. So let's keep moving through really quick. Details on a contact record. This is all the basics that you would expect. And the one thing I want to show you is remember those custom fields that we added. Here's their timing. So what you need to do is you actually click here, and this is where I'm going to choose. So his timing is actually 30 to 60 days. Save. And then kids' names. Brad Pitt has a lot of kids. I'm not going to type them all in here, but you just separate them by comma. So you just put them in here. Okay. And then everything else under here. Connections, again, this has to do with if there's a co-borrower or more than one co-borrower, especially if you have an estate sale. And that's how that works. So you can set up a household. So a household could be where, you know, maybe that there's multiple generations that have bought a home together, and then the household splits up. So you can actually split up the household where 2 of the family members decide to go off and buy their own home. So that might be the best example. Listing manager is not there. When listing manager goes live, we're looking to hopefully see that in the next few weeks. And up here at the top, it's grayed out, but we will do lots of webinars and training around that. Here's the notes section. And again, those are searchable. You can actually add notes manually. When you get on the app, you can talk those notes in. User activity. So this is where being the PBA really comes into play. So you can see all of the things that are happening here. And these are all the different fields. And that'll be a really nice field that you can have. And you can see what they're doing. History, this is basically anything that's happened on this record. So if you can't recall if you sent them an email or made a phone call like you were supposed to, then you can go into the record or send an email to someone. You can go in here and go, okay, looks like I did. I completed that task. I took care of it. And marketing, so marketing would be, of course, if there's any campaigns, that's coming soon. And then inbox. Inbox is really important. So when you start interacting with your clients through the mobile app, especially through the mobile app, texting, emailing, calling, and all of that, you actually will have this inbox for you where when people respond to you, this is where you're going to go to search for that. So if someone emails you back when you email through booj, it'll show up here. A form is really important because this means someone actually went on your website or remax.com and they typed something into that form box that's there, and they actually asked a specific question. So it will exist here. Check your inbox a lot. If there's a red number here, that means there are some new messages you haven't read yet. So that is something you'll be able to do.
I have a quick question, Michelle.
Sure.
Can you add title contact, listing agent if you are on the buy side, and all closing parties into the connections area?
So you can, as long as they are a contact record. So you will need to go in and do a manual, so add a contact manually, and you'll just need to go in and add that title rep as an individual. So yes, you can add them. They're not going to have access to see any of this, only you can. But if it helps keep you organized and you want everyone that's involved, like I said, lender, and if you want to put the appraiser and everybody else, a lot of you do put your preferred partners in your database, and there's no reason why you shouldn't here either. And obviously it would be really important here. So yeah, they just have to be in the database. Anything else? Thanks for the questions, everyone. Excuse me. Getting my hydration. So, all right, so let's move on to where it says campaigns. Just really quick, I want to mention, so the drip campaigns should be going live here at the end of the month. There are lots of things happening around March 31st. I know everyone's like, wow, it's end of the month, closings, but we're going to work through that, and we'll do lots of webinars to help you know what to come and how to use the features. So there's actually, so the campaigns themselves, now you can't, right now what you can do is a single send. But the recurring of the drip is not available until the end of this month. So on a single send, so if you go up here, if you just want to send someone a nice template or something along those lines, You want to click build campaign. You obviously want to name it, whatever you want to name it, but see how it's going to let you choose. You can put this, select the template, and there's actually quite a few templates here. Now, by default, it shows 5 per page. So you just have to go over here and update that to 25 or whatever you want to see. So it takes a minute for it to load. By the way, if you're looking at this and they're not loading, that's a known issue where it takes a while for them to load. So you see that. So St. Patty's Day is gone, but let's see if we can find, here's a happy anniversary one. Here's a birthday one. We'll do this one. So let's preview this. We just want to see what it looks like. And it should pop up here for us. So there it is. It's a nice birthday message, and that's what's really great about that. So inside of the contact record, by the way, you can add their social media accounts to their record. So let's say you get a notification from the system that says it's their birthday or it's their wedding anniversary. Then you can just go right into their record, click right into their Facebook timeline, and just post a message. You can send a card, whatever you want to do, but you can immediately acknowledge that on social media, and then all their friends will see it too, which could mean more business. So lots of templates there. So take your time looking through those. If you just want to go straight to the templates to see them, you can click here as well. The newsletter, we don't have an exact date when that's going to be available, but hopefully pretty shortly thereafter, the drip campaigns. So again, once again, you want to change your default view. 25 wasn't working on me yesterday either. So let's see if 50 works. It just takes a minute to load and refresh, or you can refresh it too and see all of these items in here. There they go. So they're all there. Oops. See, I was impatient. So now I have none. Okay, they're going to start loading. It went back to default. So see, you can just change the setting right there. Okay, so I want to go ahead and wrap up with contacts and leads. Let's jump into the websites. And while I'm making, go ahead. Sorry.
Question on they say they use zip forms. Will we be able to use booj in place of zip forms? Will we have forms as zip forms do?
So no, the intent is not for you to use booj instead of zip forms. It's the intent is to use them together. So there's no plans as of right now to add any forms inside of the deals section. It's just meant for you to manage behind the scenes for yourself. So yeah, don't cancel your accounts out there on paperless. This is still, by the way, there is talk of SkySlope is the next round of paperless systems added, and that's the one I've heard of so far. So just want to let you know. And that'll be in the next phase, most likely Q2. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the websites. I want to just talk through a couple of things, show you some examples, and then get you pointed in the right direction, because ultimately what this is about is getting you started and giving you the opportunity to work on this as we go the course of the next couple of weeks. The 31st is going to be here before we know it. It's right around the corner, and we want to be ready. We want you to be ready. So we really are discouraging if you can hold off publishing your website until the 31st. The main reason is because you can't assign a custom domain to it right now. You can redirect or forward. So if you really want to do it, you can. But we also want you to take the time to work on your websites and get used to them as they exist. So the websites that we offer are fully mobile responsive. So when you're designing your web page, the best advice I can give you is please do not overcomplicate it. So you don't have to put a ton of content. Most people don't look below the fold anyway, below the bottom of the screen. And even on mobile, they're not going to want to do this the whole time. So really keep it simple, nice and clean, but make sure it's impactful content. And that's something that will take you time to work on. So it is mobile responsive for tablets and a mobile device, as you can see here. So like I said, here's some important things to know. By the way, when you're testing things, when you're working on your website, if you keep seeing errors, make sure you're clearing out the cache of your browser. If you don't know how to do that, go to YouTube and type in how to clear your cache on Google Chrome. There's lots of videos to help you, but it will, a lot of times that's what our support team is going to ask you. If you're getting error messages, they're going to actually instruct you to clear your cache on your Chrome. So make sure you know about that. The best way to test things is to use the incognito browser window, and that's where you basically open up a browser window in Google and Chrome, and you're going in as a complete stranger. So it's not going to remember errors, it's not going to remember your logins, it's going to help bring you into these places as a consumer would actually see them. So like I said, you can't assign a custom domain till the 31st, And then of course, the IDX agreement. So broker owners, managers on this training today, if you've not received an email or notification from 73 is the name of the company, which is the data warehouse for RE/MAX LLC, then you need to reach out to our support team and get your IDX in place and approved for the office, so then the agents can publish their websites, and then reach out to support for that. So really quick, just want to talk about these bio pages. So there's a lot of, maybe a little bit of confusion. We get a lot of questions on, well, what's the bio page and what's my website? They're actually two separate entities. So your bio page is actually your profile page on remax.com. We used to call them spa pages when it was hosted on homes, but now this is your profile page. So all of you can be found in an agent roster search on remax.com. And when a consumer finds you and clicks on your profile picture, it'll open up the bio page. So on the national website at remax.com, underneath that, there are bio pages for each office and multi-office, as well as for teams and for individual agents. So agent bio page looks like this, where it is nice and clean. You can actually type, by the way, all of your information on Max Center. This is where it would feed over. So everything lives in Max Center to feed this bio page, as well as your websites, where your bio section is. So you want to take the time to write that out. Now this, in this case, this agent where it says my website, this would actually be a hyperlink to her booj external website, her own agent website. So like I said, I know it can be a little bit confusing, but the bio page is not meant to be a standalone page on its own. It exists and is hosted on remax.com. But the new websites we're going to talk about in a moment will be that. Okay. All right. So, so let's go into Max Center and, oops, sorry. Yep. Let's go into Max Center and let's take a look at where to update your profile, because that's really important. So you want to click on this tab. So you stay on booj, you don't have to close it, but go to this tab where it says Max Center. And then what you want to do is go over to the far right-hand side, and you want to click right here where you see you should see a picture of yourself. If you don't, if you see a balloon like mine, then this is a good thing that we're doing this. So then you want to click where it says update profile. So let's click here. And this should take you into a section where you can do just that. So this again is really important. So all of this information in this section feeds over to your bio page. It also feeds over to your website, and it will feed over to the RE/MAX referral directory in Max Center. So make sure all your information is correct. Obviously you can do some editing here. And what you want to do is just kind of move down the timeline. So general info, you know, demographics, things like that. Contact info obviously is very important. By the way, this is where you update wherever you want your remax.net email to forward to. Then you want to go in here and edit this. So this would actually go to your primary email, which is Gmail or what have you. Because remember, remax.net email is not an actual email that you have an inbox for. It's just a vanity email. So, excuse me, excuse me, you need to put your primary email address on here. Okay. Photo. So this is where you add your photo. So everyone, I want to really encourage you to update your Max Center photos. If you have an old one on there, especially one that's low resolution, it's going to appear pixelated and grainy. You do not want that. You want to make sure it's at least 1 megabyte. When you get a professional headshot, they're typically 2 to 3 megabytes. They're really big photos. You can, the max is 5, but make sure it's a good size. So when you go here to add it, it does give you the guidelines and on adding that. So make sure it's a nice, crisp, clear and recent headshot for yourself. Professional details. So again, you can go through here and just fill in as needed. Service areas would be in addition to what your office is set up. What are your primary areas that you work in? And this would be like getting specific with names of towns. So like, let's say if you're in the greater Boston area, you wouldn't just put Boston, you'd put in Natick or Jamaica Plain or any of these areas that you work in. Okay, personal details. This is where, under the personal details is where you write the bio. So just make a note, that's where you find it. And this is right, there's no bio written for this because it's demo account, but this is where you're gonna add this. Now keep in mind, there's no spell check in here. So write this out on a Google Doc or a Word document where you can do spelling and grammar check and then just copy and paste. I would say less is more. You don't necessarily have to say a lot, but talk about who you are, what you do, why you do it, what you do outside of work, like hobbies and interests. If you give back, all of you should mention it. If you're Children's Miracle Network If you donate to that, if you're a miracle agent, talk about that. And because consumers want to see that, and they also want to see what it's going to be like to work with you, and make sure the message is what's in it for them. So that's my best advice to you on that. So MLS affiliation, this is really important. So make sure your MLS affiliation is correct here, and that it does, you know, for some of you that are broker owners, it may say here that it's pending or needs approval. If you have any questions or see anything that's not correct here, please reach out to our support team, support@remaxintegra.com, go to maxhelpsyou.com and submit an inquiry, and they can assist you with that. And awards, of course, here for those of you that have the award levels. So, okay, so that's the Max Center profile. I just want to reiterate again, that feeds over to the bio pages on remax.com. It also feeds over to your website. So let's go ahead and jump into the websites, and let's move this over. So what you want to do so again, by default, booj opens up to the CRM dashboard, but we're going to go into the websites, and we're going to click on where it says dashboard. Now this is where, for those of you that are wondering, what does my website look like? Before, you can see it and you can preview it before you publish it. And publish, by the way, means make it live, which means consumers can find it and you can send people to visit it. But right now, this site is not published. In order to see what my site looks like already, right here is the link that I would click on. But before you click on it, I want you to click this little I next to it. And I want you to jot this down. So, because when you go to click on your website, it's going to prompt you to enter a password, and it's not your Max Center credentials. You're going to need to put in beta-user and then beta tester 123 exclamation mark. So and again, that's in the little I right next to your, I'm going to close this. Once again, I'm in the website dashboard, which is where you find your homepage. But to preview your page, you want to look here on this little I, write this down, the username and password. And then the next thing is you're going to click here. So see, it's going to ask me to enter that. So beta-user, and then I'm typing in beta with a capital B, tester with a capital T, 123 exclamation. So what this is going to do is going to show you exactly what your site looks like as it would exist today. If I published it today, this is what it looks like. So it has an image, it has a search bar, it has some content. This is what's great about it, is that there's already pre-populated content just to get you started. Because a lot of you are probably thinking, I don't want to work for hours and hours on my website. And some of you do, but a lot of you don't. And you can use what's already provided. So also there's a menu up here at the top. So there's already items placed in your menu. And for those of you that are offices, you'll have an agent roster link or office roster if you have multiple locations. So see, it's pretty much ready to go if you really wanted to publish today. When you publish, I will tell you, your domain name changes. It will change over to your username for remax.net, so mine would be mhoyt.remax.com. That would be the domain for my website. So all of you at least get one that's marketable, that you can put on a business card and all of that. So again, we are previewing our site. So over here, so leave that open, by the way, don't close that tab, because when you make changes, I kind of want you to see what's happening with it. So once again, this is your assigned default domain, but then you will need to move that over to, when you publish your website, it's going to say your username.remax.com. Let me show you an example of an agent in Florida who's really done a lot of work on her website. Her name is Michelle Belisari, and it's spelled with one L. So michellebelisari.remax.com. See, that's what yours would be. It's your username.remax.com. What she has done, now keep in mind, she's had her website since August. So she's done a lot of work on it. So I don't want this to be intimidating in any way to any of you. I also don't want all 150 of you to contact Michelle and ask her what she did. I'm sure she'd love to hear from you. But I want to show you some examples. So she did a custom image, which you can do. I'll show you how to add that. She has her search bar below the image. Now notice the site that I just shown you had it on top. I'll show you how to make that happen. She has a feature. Yep.
Will team websites still get reassigned the domain name, or will it be the actual team website name?
So it'll actually be a team. There's a default domain, or there's a default domain, yeah, like a team username, and I think it has a dash in it. So if you want to make note of who that is that's asking that question, I can get them the example of what that would look like. That would be great.
Okay. All right,
yeah,
thanks.
great question. So yeah, so your individual agent one has that username, but then the team will have, I think it's like the team name with a dash in it and your name. So I'll get that over to you. So on her, she also did a block here on her listings, and then she did something pretty advanced. So again, I don't want to make anyone feel that they're not achieving anything here, but this is actually set up specifically for her to feature her key areas that she works in. And she also has, so like, if you just click on any of these, here's Boynton Beach. If you click here, it's going to take you into a page that she spent a lot of time building, but I want you to see what can be done. So like, here's things to do. And this is all about the area. And she has a video. So there's a lot of key things right here. Okay. All right. So feel free to look at her page. Another one. So it's michellebellis.remax.com. Another one I want you to look at is Tim Burrows. It's tburrows.remax.com. He's in Idaho. And what he's done on his homepage is he set up the image at the top, search bar right here, and then he has this bio block. So this is that bio block I was talking about that feeds over from Max Center. So, and you don't have to do anything. Once you've done it in Max Center Profile, this is what it looks like on your website. So that's what's great about it. And then he also has his reviews. You can copy and paste manually reviews from Google, Facebook business page, from realtor.com, and you can put those in here and under my reviews. And then here's his Zillow reviews. So the Zillow reviews are done in a separate content block, which I'll show you how to access as well. But those are real time. Those are timestamped. They're all right here.
Hey, Michelle. Sorry. Hey, when you get a chance, will you go over where they need to go to do the beta tester again?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So, yep, no problem. So once again, we're in website and dashboard. And then there's a little I next to, so this is your assigned domain for your website in preview mode. So if you click this little I next to it, it's going to prompt and bring up this username and password. So jot that down, look at it on your screen, and then jot it down for sure. So it's beta-user, beta tester with capital B and capital T, 123, exclamation mark. Okay. So, and that's because you're in preview mode right now. You haven't published yet. So we're on, so the homepage of my website, which by the way, remember is this one. So this is my homepage. Now, for those of you that looked at your site, if you didn't have the search bar at the top, and I always recommend that because that's what people want. They want to be able to search easily. If you want to change your layout, I will show you how to do that. So we should now go into where it says change homepage. So change homepage. If you scroll down, most likely, I think by default, you should be on agent social layout. You need to change to agent search layout. Okay, so click this button right here, make this check mark green under agent search layout. And then what you want to do is go to the bottom and hit save. Then when you make that change, if you want to make sure that it's saved, go back to your page. Remember, you should have this tab open still, and just do a refresh. And it should show your new layout. Should be pretty instant. Okay, so next, what else can you do? Let's say that you looked at your home page and you want to move a couple of things around, some blocks that are there. So you click Edit Agent Search Layout. Okay, and then what you want to do is this. So by the way, this is the bio block, which I added. I'll show you how to do that on a page. We can start from scratch. And so let's say these are in draft mode, by the way. This means they're not displaying. So if I turn this on, look what happens. So right underneath the main image and the header is my bio block. But you have to add it first. I know some of you are like, I don't have a bio block on there. So if you want to add it, you want to click where it says add block. And then you're going to scroll down and you're going to find the one that actually says bio block, which is this one. And you don't have to do anything else because remember, this comes from your Max Center profile. So choose the bio block and then save it, and it should drop in here with your other items. Now let's say that this bio block happens to be down here, but I really want it up at the top. So all you have to do is hover over the item here, click and hold, and move it up. So now it's right underneath. You can't put anything above the headline, by the way, or the header of the page. You can only go right underneath it. So this is how everything's set up. Like I said, you can move things around. I want the blog above this one. And then you can also continue to add to it. But again, remember, this is your home page. Keep it simple. And that way people don't have to scroll to see a lot of information. And we're going to create a page really quick before we're done today. So let's exit out of here. And I just want to quickly go through some of these other tabs on the website. Actually, before we do, let me click on dashboard. This is really important, and it's gonna seem like I'm going through this fast, and I'm sorry, but please feel free to you're gonna get the recording back, fast forward it to this point, and to see this again. But what we're gonna talk about is how to send your personally branded mobile app link to consumers to use your RE/MAX app. Before you do this, I want all of you right now to pick up your phone, and I want you to delete the RE/MAX search app off of your phone altogether. So delete it completely before you do what we're about to do, because it's the only way it's going to work. So, and if you don't know, you just press and hold the app, it shakes, and then you hit the X, and then it's gone, which I know that's for iPhone. I think it's similar for Android. But go ahead and remove or delete the RE/MAX app. Some of you might have the old version of it from before January 31st, but delete that off of there, and then we can do this. So once you've deleted it, type in this section right here. You can go to from here on out. If you have a consumer you want to send your branded mobile app to, you're going to go to this section right here. As of right now, you can't do it from the mobile app, but hopefully soon. But under the mobile app branding, you're going to type in a cell phone number. So type in your cell phone number right here and hit text. And this is where you put in anyone's cell phone number. So, and when you hit the text, it should be pretty instant. You will get a text message that will send a link to you. And when you open it, just like when a consumer opens it, it's going to prompt you to re-download the RE/MAX app. And then when you download it and open it, it should have your face there. There have been some glitches, and there are a few known issues with the personal branded part of it. Like, I was in training class and we had 2 agents in the room that got each other's. Somehow it was weird how it crossed. But if you get incorrect information, delete the app and then try it again. That link that you just sent to yourself, by the way, in your text message, you should save that, copy and paste that into a note, and then moving forward, you can text that or email that to clients and everyone else, or post it on social media. Hey, everyone, download my personally branded mobile app. So it would be super cool. You can promote it that way. All right, so again, that's how you do the mobile app. And like I said, I'm going to have to move on, but I just want to make sure that you know that this feature is here, and this is the new way to brand your RE/MAX app. And remember, just so you know, now I will have to tell you a disclaimer, that doesn't make you automatically the preferred buyer's agent when they're using your mobile app, but you are basically the assigned agent, and you can see a lot of their activity, and you'll get all of their lead inquiries and all of their favorites and everything sent directly to you by them using your mobile app. Okay, let's move on. So website, let's go to pages. So all the pages that have been created for this particular website exist here. Now, not necessarily all of them are live or in the active navigation, and I'm going to show you that on the next tab, but these are all here. So we're going to come back to this, and I just want to show you, you'll also be able to look at them in list view. Let's say that you want to search for a certain name of a page. You can do it that way too, or preview it and see what it looks like. Let's move on to navigation. So remember, on your website, in the top right corner is this menu. This is what shows, this is the official navigation. So navigation means menu. And what does that look like? So when we go back to booj, let me close that. So we are now in the website navigation tab. So the navigation tab has this is what's active right now on my site. This is my menu, the one I just showed you with the blue box in the top right. So I can also, just like with the content blocks we looked at, I can move these items around. So let's say I want the RE/MAX blog to be moved down here. I can do that. So this is what's called a parent-child relationship. These are the main tabs. This is sort of the items that are underneath it. Now, something that you can do if you really want to, I really always discourage you linking to an external site to take them off your website, but there may be some exceptions. And I think one of the main exceptions might be school district, or maybe you want to send them to the Chamber of Commerce or Convention and Visitors Bureau about the area, whatever you want to do. You can set up a separate item or navigation menu item just for your school district. Now, I've already done this a couple times, but I'm going to show you again how this works. So if you go to create menu item and you want to type in the name of your school district, I'm going to call it School District Z, you can create this as a link. So what will happen is then you now need to go to a school district and open up their website. I'm just going to type one in that I know of. So type in the school district, open it up, and then all you have to do is go up here and copy the URL. Okay, I just open up any school district, and I'm going to go right here and paste it, and I'm going to click save. So what it has done is it's created a separate item on my menu. This could be done for a client appreciation event, by the way, if you want to send them to a landing page to register, like an Eventbrite or something like that. But you know, that would be exceptions. I still want you to keep people on your website, but it can be done that way. So yeah, see, I've done it a couple times, but it says School District Z. Now, if I go to my website, I'm going to refresh, and you're going to see that it will drop into my menu items. So I refreshed, menu, and there it is right there, School District Z. So now I set it up as a main tab, but I can also add like extra items like this underneath it. You know, maybe it could just be an extra tab that says about the area, and then you have schools as its own, then you have Convention and Visitor Bureau as its own too.
Hey, Michelle. How is SEO managed for the individual websites?
So one of the things that when you get into the pages themselves, you will have the ability to add meta descriptions and meta titles. And that's where you can, it gets more advanced, but let me go back really quick on the home page. And so search engine optimization it's something that we all wish we had the answers to, but go back to your home page under dashboard. And then if you go to edit agent search layout and you go to page details, this is where you want to enter something. So one of the recommendations I would have is, in order to get found, is at least optimize your home page. So you'll have this page details item available on any page on your website. So remember when you search for things on Google, you end up with results, and there's a bluish purple headline that you see. You should look down the page and go, oh yeah, here. And you want to catch people's attention when they're scrolling down, like what do they want to click on? And it could just be really simple. Search homes for sale. And whatever the name of your town is, Milwaukee. And you can just abbreviate. And I like to use this spacer, and then I put Remax, put the name of your brokerage. So Remax, there it is. So there are recommendations that it's 55 characters for the title, and then no more than 155 characters for the meta description. So this is, remember, this is the bluish purple headline that you want to do on the homepage. Like I said, at the very least, please do the homepage. We're getting more advanced than, but this is okay. This is a great question. The meta description would be where you do homes for sale. You could just call out Greater Milwaukee area, or you can type in all the different city names that you would normally use. Milwaukee area. And then you could even put your contact information in here. So put your phone number, put your office information, and all of that. So then you want to save the page details. And now what you've done is you've actually optimized your page. Like that is, give yourself a chance, a fighting chance on Google to show up by doing it that way. So I would at least take that time to do it. So once again, what I did was, let me just get out of here for a second, show you one more time. It's going to let me out of here. There we go. So what I did was to get to the home page, you go to website, dashboard, then you click where it says edit agent search layout. Then you click on page details up here, and this is where you add in your search engine optimization parameters. So hopefully that answered that person's question. So yeah, there's a lot you can do. This is why we gave you some time to work on this, everyone. So,
hey, Michelle.
Uh-huh.
Can you show real quick how to delete a menu item that maybe has been like accidentally added?
So yeah, so I need to delete a couple things off of my own. So let's go to navigation. And I know like what I actually think is best to do, let me see if I can move this. If I move it over here, continue. So if I move it over to this side, now it's unlinked. Did it let me do it? Hold on a second. Okay, that's how you delete it. If you remove this link from your menu, so you just drop it over to the unlinked section, and that's how you delete it. It just goes away. It's gone.
And also about one other question about the SEO. Does it matter if that's done before or after you've published your website?
Not at all. That's a great question. You can go in and optimize any website anywhere, anyhow, and you can do every single page if you want to. So, you know, you're not going to see immediate results like you're like, I'll show up #1, or you're always going to have, Google has so many different algorithms, but you can do that at any time. In fact, you can even update it. So remember, again, it's recommended 55 characters for the meta title and 155 characters for the meta description. So great questions. That's awesome. Okay, so other things just really quick I want to mention. Let's jump into testimonials. Templates are pretty easy. They're templates. But this is where you would actually copy and paste and add manually your testimonials from Facebook business pages, from Google reviews, from Realtor.com, Reach 150, wherever you have these reviews that are not Zillow. So I want to put that disclaimer on there. So Zillow reviews will be added on a different content block. But here you're going to copy and paste. So what you do is you do add testimonial. And we had someone yesterday ask if you could add a hyperlink. You can't inside of here, like to link them to that review platform. So the author is, of course, the person that wrote it. So I'm just going to put in here that, let's see, Mike Mortgage is the author, making up a name. All right, and then the testimonial is here, and remember there's no spell check again, so it's better that you copy and paste. The funny thing is here you have to rate yourself, so that's, hey, I'm 5 stars all the way. So you put that in here, and then you can choose to hide it, like if you just want to get it in here for the time being and then not show it yet, that's up to you. One of the things though I want to make sure you understand is when you do this feature, when you have to add the manual reviews here first before you add them to your site. But the thing is they're not time-stamped. So reviews are really so important to have a timestamp. The more recent, the better. And what you want to do is, here's my recommendation, just copy and paste the info from your review platform into here, and then type the date that it was actually written. That's really the best workaround right now. So then it will show on your website that way. So like I can put in here, I'll put in the date. So we'll say this was on 3/1, just do, or however you want to put it. I could just spell it out. So 3/1/2020. Okay, add. So now that's in there. I'm 5 stars all the way, but you could, so when you put them in your system, it's going to look like you just put 12 of them in there on the same date, but that's not how they're going to show on your website. The dates won't actually show. On Zillow, the dates show, but so again, the best way to do this, like I did, this was from yesterday, put the date and make it look real and legitimate and everything else. And these are actually visible. So all right, we'll go into, so domain manager, you're not going to do anything with that yet because you can't do anything with that yet. But when the time comes, you'll be able to add a custom domain, reach out to our support for help, especially if you have email attached to your GoDaddy domain. You don't want to do that wrong because you could lose access to your emails for days at a time. It's happened. So just when in doubt, just reach out to support for help. On your website settings, what this is registration. So do you want to allow the freedom to browse on your website, or do you want to maybe restrict it where, let's say when someone gets to a point where they've viewed 50 listings, that's pretty awesome. But if they do 50 listings or whatever number, then they would be asked to register. So you can set this number, it goes all the way up to 99, it's up to you, or you can just leave it relaxed and just leave it that way, okay? All right, let's create a page because I know this is we're gonna get into the content blocks and all of that. So let's go to website and pages. And let's say we wanna create a page about our area or things to do in our area, just like the one we saw on the Florida agent. So we're gonna click add page and let's do create new page. So let's just name this things to do in whatever the name of your city is or town. Things to do in Indianapolis. And by the way, when you put a city name, it's always a best practice to add the state. I know that there's really Indianapolis is well known for Indiana, but especially for those of you that are in city names like Bloomington, there's one in every state. So make sure you put the state name. And the description is fun things to do in the area. And again, see again, no spell check. So make sure you're using those items. So let's go here and oh, look at this. So I need to change this. So the slug, by the way, is whatever comes after .com. So whatever the domain is of a website, anything that comes after .com that's the name of the page that you're actually on. So I'm going to change this. Looks like I'm going to get rid of these dashes. So see, that helps. You can make this whatever you want. So like, even though it says things to do in Indianapolis, I could actually change that to Indy because people know that's the nickname for Indianapolis. So I could just do Indy and just get rid of that. So you can make this whatever the page name is, whatever you want, things to do in Indy. So now it's saving. So let's start by creating the top header. Now remember, it's always a best practice if you can to feature that search bar front and center. But for this page, we don't necessarily need that. We want to feature the area. So we can just do they're always going to have the ability to search. So if you do something like a headline, let's do, or you can do it with the search. So we do headline image with search. So it does have it on there front and center. You're going to need to now pick an image. So it will open up this whole library of images. So I clicked on where it says add image, and you can choose any of these images that have already been loaded, royalty free. Remax LLC is saying you can use them. So have at it and enjoy. So you can choose any of these. We'll just pick this one. And one of the things that you can add your own. Remember how that Florida agent created her own custom image? You're going to have time to work on that. But what you want to do here is you want to actually pay attention to these dimensions right here. So file size, 2.5 megabytes, and the dimensions of this is really important. So that's where if you're looking to create a photo in Canva, InDesign, or Photoshop, or any of those programs, this is your best guide for that. Okay, and then let's just say I want to insert that. If you want to do your own, so if I hit cancel and I want to do my own, then you can just choose from your desktop. And I find this really interesting. You can actually add a PDF. So I thought that was a typo at first. I'm like, a PDF is not really an image, but I get it. So, but let's go ahead and just add one. And then let's just insert it. Okay. So now we're building our page. So there we go. And the one that I happen to choose just has this red border around it, which I happen to like. So what's the name of the page? Remember, this was things to do. Can't type today. Things to do in Indy or Indianapolis. And you have to put something in the description or it will not let you save your page. So I'm just going to put some gibberish in there. Okay. All right. So things to do in Indy. So there we go. Look what we're doing. We're building our page. Here's what you're going to love if you haven't noticed already. I can see on the right-hand side in preview mode what's happening as I build my page, which you weren't able to do that in our past websites. So this is great. So now let's talk about that bio block, remember? So let's add a block. And now let's go to where it says bio block. So this is going to automatically load up. So when I click that, notice it says this can be edited in Mac Center. So remember what we did earlier. You've got to go into your Mac Center profile and write your story, write your bio and everything else. But when I hit save, see how it's already loaded there already. So whatever's in my area, it's there. So whatever's in my bio block will appear here. You cannot edit it here. You will have to go in and edit it in Mac Center. Now let's add my Zillow reviews because I want you to see how to do that. So click add block, and then I want you to click where it says Zillow review block. Now for those of you that have Zillow reviews, you're going to need to enter your Zillow screen name. If you don't know how to find that, I'm going to show you right now. You can either go to Zillow and log into your profile to find it, or what you can do is use Zillow like a consumer would. So you're going to type in your name. I'm just going to pick any name here. So we will do search. So you find the agent, they find yourself. So I'll just pretend this is me. This is my friend Mike, RE/MAX broker in Chicago. And here's his screen name. So right here, you're going to copy this as it is, spaces and everything. So some of you might have team profiles or what have you. Command C for me on a Mac. So I'm going to put that in here and I'm going to paste it. When I hit save, watch how instant it is. They're there, boom, really quick. So I'm good to go. Look, I've got my header image. I've got to go along with this, I've got a title, I've got my bio block, and now I have my Zillow reviews. See, isn't this fun? Now next, the manual testimonials that we added, we could also add too. And like I said, remember, maybe put the dates in. Now see, these are timestamps, so those are all good. So you can also do, now if you want to get more advanced, some of you are probably wondering, how did that Michelle from Florida set up her site with those really cool grids and how it was set up? So what you can do is, she's using what's called the image text slideshow stepped. So we're going to add that feature. Now we're going to have to go in and we're going to have to build each little item in that stacked format. So we're going to choose a different picture for each one. And let me get rid of this. Let's go to insert. So now I put in my description and I'm going to do save. Okay, now I'm building these blocks. So now I'm going to click add item. We're going to do another one. I know this is more advanced, but hey, I know you guys are ready for more. We've been hearing from all of you and we want to give it to you. So here, same thing. Save. Okay, see what I'm doing? And then add another item. So I'm going to do 4 just so we can see what it looks like stacked up. Living room, insert. Here we go. This is fun. And let's do this too. Let's choose here. Okay. Can't wait to see it. Save. Okay, so there it is. So now I'm going to go back to my page and let's see, my website, I should say. And let's go back here. So there it is. So, okay, here's my page. There's my header. There's my bio block. Here's my Zillow reviews. And there's my page right here. Actually, let me look at it. So it's like a slideshow. It's a carousel. Let me look at it in real time. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. And again, remember, there's lots of videos here on RE/MAX University. Where's my block? Let me review. It's not refreshing for some reason. Oh, I have to accept the cookies. Hey, Joe and Travis, it's not appearing on my site for some reason. Oh, I know what it is. That was a page. That's why. My fault. Okay, full preview. Now I can look at it. I was looking at my website. So I haven't made my page active yet on the site. So here's my page. Ooh, I like it. Here's my reviews, and here's my items here. So like I said, so you can do, so I did a different version than what that agent did, but you can also stack up the images like that. This is going to walk them through a certain process, and you're going to put different content in with each one. You know, maybe it would say like about these different areas. So we're just having fun, and this is a great thing we can do. So by the way, in the bottom right corner, notice where this blue question mark is. This is what I was talking about before, where you can actually go in and you can make suggestions to the product. And like I said, it doesn't mean they'll respond and make a change tomorrow, but you do have a voice. So you click, you rate the product, and then you hit submit feedback, and it'll give you a box here. You can type in any product suggestions. So hopefully that helps. So what other questions do we have, Travis and Joe, before we wrap up?
I think we're good right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much, everyone. There's still so much more you can do. And I want you to take the time to make your websites look good. Like I said, you don't have to overload your websites with content. Just make it impactful, make it meaningful. If you want to go do those more advanced things like optimizing your pages, then feel free to do so. So this session was recorded. It is going to be redistributed to all of you. And I hope this was helpful to you. So thanks, everyone. Have a, please be safe and well and healthy out there. And I wish you the very best and with your families, and hope everyone is doing well. So we miss you. We can't wait to see you again someday soon. And take care. And thanks for joining us this morning. Have a good day.